subscribe.
一体どんな手を使って
どんな手も何も俺は元から
登録していた。
Car D Kaizoku.
This video is sponsored by Nen Garden. Their latest spring collection just dropped, featuring 3 new designs. My favorite one being the whole cake design. Look at all the details. To celebrate, they're running a spring sale. Buy one and get any classic mat 40% off with code SPRINGSALE. Plus, NEN10 automatically saves you 10% at checkout. And you can stack this with my code Kaizoku for an additional 5% off on top of that. This video is sponsored by gumgum.gg. Discover Western OP10 lists and Eastern OP11 lists on gumgum.gg. Updated daily. Be the first to see decks for new leaders as they emerge. With over 1,000 deck lists per set, gumgum.gg has all the top strategies as soon as they drop. This video is sponsored by Card Market, Europe's largest online marketplace for trading card games. So I'm not at my usual setup. I'm actually at my parents' house out of town, having to record from the garage at 5 a.m. while everyone else is asleep. So hopefully it doesn't sound too janky. I'm not gonna have too much ability to edit here, but yeah, they announced a new ban list like a month, April 1st, 2025. This is for all languages, all regions of the game, both Japan and English, as far as I can tell. But yeah, it's crazy. They announced 4 new cards to be added to the ban list. They announced that 8 Kasuga Moria, Jinbei, Ice Age, and Kingdom Come are going to be added. This is a massive hit to a lot of black decks, right? Because Gekko Moria is the crutch for that color. Ice Age is like the very next crutch. Jinbei, the blue card that I didn't expect them to hit from Doflamingo, right? I was expecting 2-cost Teach or Bounce Law, but yeah, this hurts Boa, this hurts Doflamingo for sure. And Kingdom Come, this one's kind of felt like a stray. I don't know if Enel was big enough of a problem that Raigo needed to be hit, so this one came out of left field for me. I'm pretty sure Enel is the only deck that runs it. Every other yellow deck usually doesn't stay at 1 life. I guess BY Luffy runs it, but since Gekko Moria is getting banned, BY Luffy's dead anyway, so a double hit on BY Luffy, it seems. They even run Ice Age too. This is like a complete BY Luffy murder scene, crime scene here. It's so freaking cold. Okay, so our ban list tier list video, I mean, you can already tell we were completely dead wrong. I had no idea. I didn't think they were going to hit 4 cards. 4 cards is quite a lot. It's a very heavy-handed ban here, right? We even considered cards they might unban. That turned out to not be the case at all. They didn't unban any cards. Cards that we wanted banned, at the very least, I could consider like wanted banned, but they won't. We got Gekko Moria, right? We wanted banned. We didn't think they would do it, but they did it. Everything else left untouched. Gum Gum Giant left untouched. The Doflamingo problem left untouched. Pudding left untouched. And then I had Ice Age in this category. Yeah, I used to hate that card. It was just too much value. But then I guess I felt sympathetic to Black Deck. And I was thinking like, well, their time is like limited, right? We see in OP11 Black Decks fallen off the face of the earth. We'll give them Ice Age back, right? So that they can at least compete. But then because of that, I put it in the won't ban Cry More. Just, you know, as like a olive branch to the black mains. But yeah, in the end they banned it. So yeah, I can understand why. For the longest time, if you see like my past kind of ban list prediction videos, I always considered Ice Age to at least be in consideration. I do think that one Dawn for -5 cost is incredibly efficient. I don't think that you could balance around that, because yeah, I mentioned that like I feel like there's that step missing between like Tempest Kick 1 Dawn for -3 cost to like Ice Age -5 cost for 1. Where's like the -4, you know? So yeah, this is big implications for the meta for sure. More so for us than for Japan, right? Because we're getting it in OP10, so like a lot of top decks are gonna get hit, right? Doflamingo's gonna get hit, BY Luffy's gonna get hit, Lucci's gonna get hit, Smoker's gonna get hit, Enel's gonna get hit. That gives room for a bunch of new decks to form in our meta. It's gonna be really interesting. It's gonna shake things up quite a bit. But in Japan, I don't think it's gonna make too much of a difference, because if you look at their tier list right now, this is kind of what the top 10 looks like in OP11 at the moment. This is using ranked sim data, so yeah, not everyone in Japan is playing the sim or on ranked, so it's a little different in that regard, but I do think it's representative of the meta as a whole. It's not too different, right? We see Blue Purple Luffy and Green Purple Luffy at the top, Bonnie being the deck that counters both of them at the top as well, Zoro being the deck that counters everything else there as well. So yeah, I think this list is pretty, how would you say, like trending in the right direction, same direction. It's not like entirely representative of the Japanese meta, but for lack of a better data source, this is as good as we're gonna get. And it looks like, yeah, None of these decks that you see here run any of the cards that got banned. No Gecko Moria decks, no Ice Age decks, no decks that run Raigo or Kingdom Come, and no decks that run Jinbei. So honestly, for them, this ban list does not mean anything at all. Meta player, the meta decks in OP10 become off meta, next meta. But yeah, OP10 for us, it's gonna be a completely new meta, uncharted territory. We'll have to see what decks end up being on top. Me personally, I do think Zoro now finally has a chance to shine. We might see Zoro dominate in the West. That's my prediction. I always cope for Zoro though, so take that with a grain of salt. But I do think this is his time, right? In OP11, he seems to be the counter to Blue Purple and Green Purple Luffy and Smoker and Bonnie. Though I think Zoro's supposed to have a losing matchup in the Bonnie, but I've seen it go both ways for some reason. Without a lot of his obstacles in OP10, we could see him have a space for himself, at least in the top 10, in the West as well. So that's it for the ban list news. The other super huge game-changing ramification announcement that they made, they're releasing rotations, right? Rotations in the set. Cards are going to be separated into different blocks per year that the set release. So OP01 to OP04 is block 1, OP05 to OP08 is block 2, OP09 to OP12 is block 3. From April 2026 onward, block 1 is getting rotated out, so only OP05 and forward is going to be legal. Some people speculate that April 2026 cutoff might be the time that like English catches up with Japan and we're on the synchronized release schedule, so that we're all on the same blocks. That does make sense. It's a little earlier than my August prediction, where I thought it was going to be for Japan's 4th anniversary. But if it was after Worlds next year, that also makes sense to me too. I didn't consider that, but actually, yeah, that works too, right? Because Worlds is when they make the most sweeping ban list changes. So it also makes sense that if everyone were to sync up at that time and then everyone lost OP01 to OP04, it gives everyone like the same start, the same fresh new beginning into the game. And yeah, there'll still be extra regulation tournaments where all sets are legal. Right? You can think of this as like the unlimited format in Magic. It's not modern, but yeah, unlimited for now. We'll probably get to a point where we're going to have an unlimited and a modern format, but that's I think years away from us. You can tell which block your card is in by the number denoted in the bottom right on like the little gum fruit icon. So this Nami is a block 1 card because she's from OP01. But they also announced that they're going to reprint cards. So the new printings of cards are going to have new updated block numbers. So as long as your block number is legal for the year, you can use it. So that doesn't mean old cards are gone forever. They could even start doing like a core set like in Magic, where they reprint a lot of core cards that they want to balance around for a year. Print support based off of that. So that would be cool. Right, and doesn't mean that all of our old cards suddenly become like devalued. Now, the thing they haven't specified is whether you can use old printings of a card, even if it's legal in the current like rotation. I would assume they would let you, but who knows? You know, this would like devalue the old alt arts in that case if they only let you use it if the like block number is showing the current block, right? Because like the 01 Nami alt art, I don't think they would reprint that. I guess they could, right? If they do reprint it, maybe they reprint the alt arts as well. So never mind. We actually don't know what they're going to do, so we'll just have to see and be hopeful, not be pessimistic about it. And on top of this, it looks like they're going to have like an evergreen list of cards. So far, all the manga rares from 01 to 04 are going to be added to this list. So these will be usable regardless of what block it is. They could also remove cards from this list as well, but for now, it seems like they're only planning to add more if they see the need to. So all your manga rares are safe. If you invested in them, if you spent money on them, they're still going to be valuable, don't worry. And then just to close off this video, I decided to look if we were to rotate a set and cards lost of a lot of their OP01 to OP04 cards in their decks, which leaders would be most affected. Now this isn't taking into account the reprinted cards that are going to show up in later blocks or the manga rares. I didn't have time to do that. I'm actually like editing this and recording this on my ROG LIX, so I couldn't write the most complicated queries, but just as a quick glance, the cards or the decks that lose the most cards after a rotation would be OP03 Nami. They lose 10 cards in their deck. OPO2 Newgate loses 10 cards. Smoker loses 7 cards. Lucci loses 7 cards. Usopp loses 7 cards actually. OP10 Usopp, the newest leader, loses quite a bit. Rosinante loses 7. Zoro loses 7. Bo Hancock loses 7. And this is from an arbitrary deck list that I'm picking. I think when I get home, I'll show it in detail which cards are actually lost in these decks. I just don't have the time for it right now. But yeah, it looks like there's a couple decks that don't lose anything. Like Teach, Purple Luffy, Bello Betty, Piss Kid, and Reiju. That makes sense. All of the cards are just new cards, so they don't get affected by this at all. But yeah, I thought this would be interesting to show too. And I guess that'll cap off the video. I'll do a more detailed look at this, more analytical, more numbers focused, and with better images once I get home, which is going to be probably like Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that. But for now, let me know what you guys think of this crazy news. The ban list on top of that rotation, or other way around. Rotation is a lot bigger news, I feel, but yeah, it's crazy times coming, and then we're gonna catch up to Japan, so a lot of big changes coming to the game within the next year, it looks like. So be excited to see what shakes up. I'm gonna have to update all my OP10 videos now too. Yeah, that's a big implication. I'm gonna have to re-record. Well, yeah, I'll just get to that. It gives me a chance to make more content, right? So yeah, again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Check out my other videos if you haven't, and I am going to go back to sleep because I'm freezing in this garage. Bye.
Car D Kaizoku.